out of the ordinary insights. Brought to you by Investec Specialist Bank.
Captains of Industry here on CNBC Africa, and I'm speaking to Johann Vorster, the CEO of Clover. Johann, let's start with the period that has elapsed since the listing in December 2010.
That's right, yes.
How are you feeling about the company at this stage?
I think we've gone a long way. Remember we started off with Project Clover Blue, which was the 570 million investment, which is quite big for dairy, in this, even in European terms. That'll be completed by the end of September, and that was probably our biggest focus so far after the listing, because it was very important for us to illustrate that we can implement a project of that magnitude successfully.
Well, for the viewers, let's talk a bit about Clover Blue, because you found that there were problems with the distribution, with where your factories were positioned. They were in the north, effectively, and all your farmers pretty much on the coast. So you had obviously big transportation issues between the two. It's better to have put those factories closer to your farmers and then transported the ambient products. Is that correct?
That is correct. The whole purpose of the listing was to get funds to do exactly that. That was a legacy of the past. Prior 1994, Clover was only allowed to operate in the north of the country, and our competitors in the south, and that's where the milk is. So it was a quite obvious decision to move our facilities from the north to the south, to eliminate all of that cold transport costs of moving the milk up every day 14 to 18 hours. So that was the main reason for that, but also capacity expansion. We've invested in some areas of capacity for ourselves. But that was the main reason for that, and it's worked out very successfully for us.
Where are you in the process? I mean, I know that, for instance, your long life plant has moved from Gauteng to Port Elizabeth, the Perseverance operation.
Correct.
That has been successfully executed.
Yes, as well as the ones that we've moved to Queensborough, and the final phase now is to move Mayfair, which is another factory that we have in Johannesburg, to our Clover operations. And all of that will be done by September, within the time frame and within the budget that we set out originally, which we're very proud of, I must say.
You're the largest dairy company in South Africa, and that comes obviously with relationships with farmers. You've got about 280 farmers in your fold. I'm not sure if that number has increased to this point. Pretty much 30% of all milk production goes into the Clover fold. What is your relationship now like with the farmers that work with you?
Yes, can I just brag a little bit? We're the biggest dairy in Africa, not only in South Africa. So
I stand corrected, in Africa.
So we're very proud of that. We have enabled our producers, our milk producers, to consolidate. It's a worldwide trend that farmers consolidate. With our quota system, which is quite unique, we've enabled them to absorb a lot of the competition of their competition, and they've consolidated. And the growth is very important for our producers.
Explain the quota system to us as lay people.
Yeah, so what we do is we have a quota, and every year we ask them how much milk they would want to give to us, We then issue quota for that year, so they have certainty in their lives. And that quota, they can trade amongst each others. So if the one wants to grow faster than the other one, then they can trade. But we only take in the milk that we can sell successfully. If they give us more than the quota, then we would pick up the milk, but we will pay them either a lesser amount or nil, depending on what we can do with it. So they've got certainty as opposed to the other milk buyers out there. And Clover's enabled them. So our relationship currently is very good with them. It's always been very good. I know it was one of the skepticisms saying that if they don't hold shares in Clover anymore, would they still be loyal and so on. I must say 3 years on, it's proved to be a very successful relationship because we've unlocked 1.3 billion with the listing. So many of them have sold their shares. And they've used that to invest on their farms.
As a dairy farmer's daughter, I can tell you that the one thing that farmers do want is certainty. And if you've provided that, then you've gone a long way to providing a stable platform for the farming community. Let's chat a bit now about the cyclicality of the industry. We know in 2009 there was oversupply of milk in the system, and of course you were hard hit over that period. I see just generally April and September are very good months for you. Can you talk me through how your business works from a cyclical perspective?
Yes, it's both cyclical and cyclical. So cyclical, we know that in March or over Easter we're doing well, December we're doing well. But then there was this old every 4 years you've got this surplus or shortage, and then you get hard hit. Since then we've made changes in our whole philosophy how we buy milk. We've exited the bulk powders and bulk cheese markets. which is normally the one that's hardest hit by a surplus in terms of pricing. So that's one thing that we've done. We've implemented the C price, which we only take the milk. So we've taken the volume risk out of the business. So it was supposed to be in 2013, and it's not going to happen. So we think, and because we're the leaders in the market, people follow us, the other players in the market. And I think we've averted a big surplus this year. So I think the system is working
Just
for us.
explain again, take me back to why every 4 years you would be faced with this situation.
In dairy, it takes about 18 months before the cow comes, can start milking. So if there's a shortage, then everybody would up the prices to get more milk. Then the farmers won't cull their cows. They will keep them. So 18 months, another 18 months is 36 months. So every sort of 4 years, there's this either too many cows in the system or too few cows in the system. So that's why there's that sort of magical or historical 4-year number.
Talking about price increases, you increased prices between 8 and 10% on certain products. That impacted your headline earnings to the end of December 2012. They were down some 33%. There you did state that it would be a while for your competitors to start increasing their prices, and they have been reactive. Where are we now?
Yes, in fact, Bronwyn, we have increased the prices only after January. So the fact that we were behind on our half-year results were as a result of those launches of new products and platforms. We did 4 of them. That was about 37
And then the
million.
hard marketing costs you put behind
Correct.
those products.
Yes, so we have increased our prices since January. It's all been accepted by the trade, and the competitors have started to follow, and we can see that in the market. So this time around, it happened exactly how we predicted it to happen.
That is in response to higher input costs. So we know that fuel must be a hefty bill for you. Electricity must be a hefty bill for you. How are you handling those input costs? A number of manufacturers across the board are really struggling with the situation in the country.
Yes, that is true. Specifically, if I can start with the farmers, the producers, they are under pressure still. So although we've got a good relationship with them, I'm not saying that they're completely happy with it because the input costs have gone up. It has started to abate a little bit since February, so we're monitoring the situation. But on the input cost side from ourselves, because we moved our equipment to the south, we've got less of a problem on the fuel side than what we would have had if we didn't do that. So it's very good for us that happened. Most of the competitors have the same input costs, so it need to be absorbed by the consumer.
At least there's a level playing field.
Now, yes, for us, yeah. So the consumers, it's for example, on the milk side, it's very inelastic. By increasing the price with 20 cents a litre or so to the consumer, they're not going to all of a sudden use less milk in their coffee or their cereals. So it's relatively inelastic. On the juices side, our brands have performed very well for us. And once that brand has got a certain following, it's less susceptible than losing volumes than normal commodity products. So for this, we've passed it on to the consumer. We've also got internal programs to reduce our industrial costs, which we plow back into the price. So we haven't given the consumer all of the price increases. We're continuously improving our own industrial mix to make sure that our price premium to the competition doesn't open up too much.
Now, you corrected me at the beginning of the interview saying you're actually the largest dairy company in Africa. Talk to me about your Africa operations.
Yes, we've been very quiet up till now about that.
I hope you're ready to share.
We didn't want to create unnecessary excitement because we were focusing on Clover Blue. That was the main focus. All our engineers and all of our people have been focusing straight on that, and that have been very involved. As these projects have now come to completion, and even after September, we've started to put in a lot more effort into the 2 main areas which we've identified, and that is Angola and Nigeria. And I must say we have done some great strides there. We in Nigeria we've been now for 3 years, learned a lot, got the right partners now there, and looking at another.
Is that you talk about partners in Nigeria? Is that the secret to success? Joint ventures? What kind of partnerships have you established?
No, we don't think that you necessarily have to have a partner in Nigeria specifically. If you talk about that, we had a partner which we bought out. We 100% own them ourselves now. But when I talk about partners, we're talking about trade partners, and in this instance, we're talking about the distribution partner that we've got there. That's very good. We're talking about production. We've realized that we've got to own our own production, so we're looking at options there to start manufacturing ourselves, which will prove to the market that we're serious entering that market. But what we want to ultimately do is to replicate our our business plan that we've got here, there. So we're not out to buy other brands that we don't do here. We believe that there's a big opportunity for us
to take the Clover branded
Clover
products
brand and do exactly what we do here. And ultimately...
and unlock the 160 million consumers in Nigeria.
Exactly. And ultimately go into chill and fresh products, because it's very sought after there. Very sought after, any fresh product.
You mentioned Angola.
Angola, you would need a partner. And it's not official policy by an Angolan government.
It's Lusophone, so you've got the language barrier.
You have to do it. And they were fairly far advanced as well to enter that market, which is all virgin territory in terms of dairy. So we're very excited about that.
Where do you see Clover as a company 5 years from now? What is the makeup of your geographic split?
It will probably be, if I have to guess, we would like to get at least 30% of our income from sub-Saharan Africa companies. But I must immediately say that there's still a lot of opportunities for us in South Africa. At the moment, we're spending about another 300 million on infrastructure. And we believe that the guys who are spending our strategy, and we're very open about our strategy, we want to outspend our competition. And we're busy doing that. And we believe the people who's got to have the capacity in the future are going to be the winners. So we've got South African opportunities that we haven't exhausted yet. And we've got African, and specifically Nigeria and Angola. But once you do Angola, the opportunities open up for the neighboring countries. When you do Nigeria, it opens up to Ghana and so on. But those will be our main hubs for us.
The biggest risk to your business right now, to Clover?
To Clover, I don't see many risks. I see that we always, as in the South African industry, labour is a problem.
You've got about 6,300 people, 6,400 people in the fold.
Correct.
From a labour perspective.
Correct. But we are the highest payers in the industry, so that I would say is one risk. A possible other risk could be for us if an international player comes in and start playing maybe the house brand business for us. We've got to invest in more heavily into our own technologies.
You meaning imported products?
And imported products are not that easy for us into South Africa. Just to give you an example, we imported from Uruguay whilst we were moving our machines. The ship missed the harbour. There was no capacity to offload, and we only got it 3 months later. So it's not that easy for people to import. So I wouldn't.
So you don't see a threat of international companies thinking, let's hit South Africa, let's hit Africa, and flooding the market with a flurry of imported dairy products?
No, we haven't seen that.